What is the worst legendary from every single generation? Now, you might say it's Articuno because Articuno is not very good, and you would be right. That's going to be the first one. That's my prediction. It's a full swipe gaming video.
Pokemon are some of the most powerful Pokemon in the game, despite having the blessings of the developer.
I do want to guess on every single generation. I do want to guess. Now, I'm pretty sure this video is going to talk about the singles competitive format, because that's generally what full swipe gaming will focus on. Though they do dabble in doubles every now and then, so maybe I'm not going to be entirely correct, but we'll see.
Not every legendary is good. In fact, some are downright terrible. In this video, we will find out which legendary is the worst competitively in every generation.
Oh, wait, it spoiled all of them!
We will be comparing their competitive performances with the other legendaries in the generation they were released in. We will not be counting the few pre-evolved forms of certain legendaries, since they were clearly not designed to have the power that we typically associate with legendaries. And we're jumping right in, as the first generation gets us off to a fiery start with Gen 1 Moltres. Based on general knowledge of the competitive scene, you'd be forgiven for thinking Articuno is the
I think it showed. Oh, not spoilers! Woo!
Worst of Pokemon's first 5 legendaries, but that distinction goes.
Oh, it showed Moltres. Damn it!
The Moltres. It does come down to those two, though, and it's not necessarily due to
I really thought that Articuno would be worse than Moltres.
Faults, so much as some of the most stringent competition possible. Nothing touches Mewtwo, obviously, and the original Uber was soon joined by.
I guess there is only 5 legendaries to choose from, so it doesn't necessarily mean that Moltres is bad.
Meanwhile, OU's resident legendary is the third of the bird trio.
But Ice type sucks so much in Generation 1, though, doesn't it? Wait, it has a 70% chance to freeze? What?
With its excellent speed, meaning a high critical hit rate, alongside a devastating dual stab combination, meant in the absence
Team Valor propaganda
of Rhydon on the opposing team, it was Tauros level threatening. Articuno was more of an offbeat choice, but it was also terrifying. It stabbed Blizzard with its then 90%.
Wait, it was 90% chance. Oh, wait, 70% chance freeze. What?
And accuracy was actually the strongest special attack.
That's not a 9% freeze chance. That's a 9% hit chance.
Even beating out Mewtwo's Psychic. Remember, in Gen 1, there was just one special stat. So Articuno didn't have the paltry special attack stat that it would pack from Gen 2 onwards. Instead, packing the same combined special attack and special defense that Zapdos and Moltres did.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, this is actually really good.
But of course, that meant Moltres' 85% accuracy Fire Blast would hit just as hard as Articuno's Blizzard. And in Gen 1, the move also had a nasty 30% burn rate. So what's the gulf between the two? Articuno,
I guess because is that just like a massive rock-centric metagame or something?
It's clearly better in non-OU tiers, getting itself spectacularly banned from UU while being legitimately threatening even in Ubers.
Oh, nice.
While Moltres resided in NU, though it was quite good there.
Yeah, freeze is broken because wait, can you even unfreeze in Generation 1? I'm pretty sure you couldn't unfreeze, could you?
They were fairly neck and neck. As it stands, though, Articuno is just a tad better. The ability to threaten a one-hit KO on Rhydon is incredible, and it matches up better against opposing Zapdos. And of course, its ability to go for freezes falls in line with the strategies of many top Gen 1 teams.
That's insane that they wouldn't let you unfreeze.
Moltres is still ferocious, with its Fire Blast burns combining with the partial trapping of Fire Spin to chip would-be answers like Chansey and Starmie into KO range of its.
Oh yeah, in Generation 1, if you got trapped by like a spin move, like Wrap or Fire Spin or something like that, it just wouldn't let you attack until you were freed from it. So it'd be like, all right, turn 1, Wrap, take the damage, great, can't attack. Turn 2, Wrap, take the damage, still can't attack. It would just keep on going and keep on going. It was ridiculous.
Much more powerful Hyper Beam. However,
I think players should be able to use items in battle in Gen 1. Oh, in Gen 1? I guess it's just because of the freeze thing. I don't know. I feel like using items in battle would be a crazy kind of worms to open.
In addition to the
like, oh yeah, maybe I'll just use a Pokeball and steal your Pokeball.
Rhydon and Zapdos matchups, Fire Spam is not for every team when so much of Gen 1 hinges on going for freezes whose permanent effect can only be undone by getting hit by fire. Or haze, but...
What? Haze? If a frozen or sleeping Pokemon has its stat removed via haze, it cannot make a move the same. Wait, haze removes status? I thought it just reset stat changes. Like if your attack +1, it goes back to neutral.
Nobody's using that. Plus, in Gen 1, Moltres is actually weak to ice since fire doesn't resist it yet. A weakness...
Wait, what?
Articuno lacks. It's still a legit...
Whoa. Hold on. Fire didn't resist ice in Gen 1? My mind's blown. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that was the case. What were they thinking with that?
Pokemon?
I'm asking the question, what were they thinking when it comes to Generation 1 Pokemon? I mean, there wasn't a huge amount of thinking going on here.
Something's got to be the worst of the superb bunch in Gen 1, and that just winds up being Moltres. Next up, even in the second generation, it would also be a fire type, as Entei,
which is sad because fire types are so cool and everyone's favorites. Everyone loves fire types.
Of Generation 2. But before we get to the next Pokemon,
Whoa.
I sure love playing old formats with better legendaries than the Pokemon on this list.
Me too.
Oh, this nice phone I'm playing it on? This
Yeah?
is today's sponsor, the
What?
Red Magic 10.
No!
Red Magic is the gold standard when it comes to smartphones. And
That's
Red Magic
incredible.
was kind enough to send us the thinner version of their amazing Red Magic 10 Pro.
That is so
Equipped
thin.
with a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chipset and a 120
3?
hertz refresh rate screen, mobile
No.
games have never looked better for me. The animations in Pocket TCG when I open packs every day have never looked smoother, as well as
Oh,
other
look at
games
that, how
such as
smooth
Monster
that
Hunter
is.
now. Equipped with the Android OS and Red Magic's own amazing features, I can play emulators quite smoothly. I
bet you
enjoy
can.
wiping in Emerald Kaizo, and even Melee.
To a level 6 Zigzagoon, nonetheless.
This feels pretty good on this phone thanks to lower input delay. But if these games are too old for your taste,
Are they
it runs a
recording the
lot
phone
of
with another
mainstream
phone? Yeah, with another Red Magic.
games
How
like
about?
Genshin Impact very well.
Imagine having two.
And of course, you know I just love to hop onto Ranbats when I'm bored. The Red Magic 10 Air also
That's a
features
big-ass
liquid metal
phone.
cooling technology in addition to its cooling fan and vapor chamber to better
A vape chamber?
evenly distribute heat when it gets hot. This combined with a 6,000 mAh battery, which is the largest battery of its class for mid-range phones.
I'm not surprised. That's a big
The
phone.
Red Magic 10 Air can run for 28 hours on a single charge and only takes 52 minutes
28
to
hours.
charge the whole thing. So if
What?
you want an amazing, affordable gaming smartphone and
I
also
do.
support the channel to help us produce more content,
Where can I get it?
click my link in the description below.
Oh, okay. Nice.
On one hand,
I'll keep that
Entei is
one
quite
for,
similar
for,
to
for later.
Moltres. It is up against some seriously elite competition. Lugia is the Uber's Wall, taking on even King Snorlax, and threatening to sweep with curse-boosted Aeroblast late game.
Curse boosted. Oh, yeah, that was physical. That makes sense. Curse boosted Aeroblast. Yeah.
Celebi, for all their flaws that have some players suggesting that they be tested in OU, are still excellent Pokemon that would tower over standard play. In OU itself, Entei's fellow legendary beasts are top tier, especially Raikou,
Hey, you can't really go wrong with the fast electric type, can you?
simultaneously the go-to special wall and a major offensive threat, while Suicune is basically OU's Lugia in its pure walling ability that makes it a stall staple. On the other hand, Entei is dissimilar to Moltres.
I mean, what does an Entei to do? It has special fire type moves when it has what, really good physical attack?
And that
Truly,
is-
what is an Entei to do in this
It's
situation?
not very good in its own right. Sure, it's BL, because it'd be way too much for UU, but it just doesn't have a serious place in OU. It has a niche, but that's because
By the way, if you are curious and confused as to what OU, BL, UU, and all that means, they're essentially tiers of usage within the non-official Smogon singles battling format, where OU would be the most used Pokemon, and then the least used Pokemon, or the lower usage Pokemon would go down to UU, and it would go down in tiers depending on how much your Pokemon is used.
players wanted to find a way to use their
Basically, OU has better Pokemon air quotes than UU
beloved
does.
Entei, not because it was the best choice for a particular role. Entei suffers from the common early gen problem where it has a high attack stat and a special stab type in a time before Diamond and Pearl's physical special split. No
Was Sacred Fire even in Generation 2? I mean, I think it was just a Ho-Oh move, wasn't it?
colloquially as Gyarados syndrome, and its physical move pool is paltry. The best it can do in Gen 2 is Sunny Day. It does
Whoa! 0% accuracy?
has several things going for it though. Number one, unlike fellow Sunny Day user Moltres, Entei isn't weak to the thunders of Gen 2's resident legendary Electric, Zapdos, and Raikou. So even if they connect in spite of their 50% accuracy under Sun, it's not nearly as threatened. Number two,
They're
also,
using Thunder
unlike
in this?
Moltres, Entei has access to Solar Beam, which
Oh, that's pretty
is
solid.
incredible, allowing it to threaten major targets in Starmie, Sweet,
Yeah, Gen 3's gotta be like Registeel. Or it's either gonna be Regirock or Registeel in Generation 3, I would imagine.
and Vapor.
You know what? I have genuinely forgotten what the list was. Please don't remind me. I have forgotten what the list was, so now I can guess again.
And Golem. Number three, Entei's excellent attack stat lets it wield hidden power fighting to immediately threaten a highly likely 2-hit KO on Tyranitar, as well as decent damage without the need of a Sunny Day setup against Snorlax. Here's the bad news. Entei is completely and utterly outclassed by Moltres.
Oh man, imagine being outclassed by KFC. God, that is not a situation you want to find yourself in. There's very few things that KFC is better than in this world, and unfortunately, Entei is one of them.
As a Sunny Day user, because it has only 90 base special attack, as opposed to Moltres' stunning 125. With Charcoal attached, Moltres can threaten to 2-hit KO Snorlax and Sun, and always maintains a 3-hit KO. Entei doesn't come close in this regard. Moltres' Fire Blast is so powerful, it doesn't even need coverage. It just goes with Sunny Day, Fire Blast, Rest, and Sleep Talk, and still outdoes Entei by a mile. It's
Yeah, but entei does have better vibes, though, doesn't it?
Assisted further by its incredible immunities to spikes and earthquake. Moltres is a real deal OU threat, and entei is a gimmick. And even if it weren't outclassed by Moltres though, entei wouldn't have a serious OU niche and would pale in comparison to the other Gen 2 legend contemporaries. But at least in the 3rd generation, fires would no longer be the worst, as regirock.
Oh, it is right. Oh, honestly, I thought it might be Registeel for Generation 3. I don't know. Regirock really doesn't have much going for it though, does it? But then what does Regice really have? I guess it's good against, it's got really high special defense, and it's also good against all of the dragon flyings that are going around. All your Salamanders, all your Rayquazas. Yeah, get your Unununs out there. Whip out your Unununs for the chat.
Is the worst Gen 3 legendary. Alright, Gen 3 didn't introduce any fire legendaries, which was particularly strange in a gen where
like, it didn't really release any fire legendaries, or it didn't release any fire legendaries, you know?
There's a legend summons permanent sun. And it was also a place where many legendaries were introduced as the
because, I mean, Rayquaza's right there, I don't know.
First 2 generations combined. Anyway, Regirock is quite a good Pokemon, but it's just not competing with the other overpowered legendaries like Latias, Latios, Groudon, Kyogre, Rayquaza, and Deoxys, nor is it going to match OU's Jirachi. Therefore, its competition is, well, it's
the other Regis.
Which
I don't know. I don't know what Registeel really does here, apart from be a steel type, which, I mean, steel is better than rock. Let's be honest. It's really better than rock, because this is before they nerfed steel type by taking away with the resistance to, what is it, Dark and Ghost? I think it was Dark and Ghost.
Reside in BL right with it. Though for a long time, Regice was OU. It eventually dropped due to the increasing specificity of its role as a special hit taker and enabler of calm minesweepers on offense teams, but specifically because those types of teams are quite good, and because its utility is the most broad on both offense and defense, it narrowly remains the best.
It's so good at killing itself and taking ability down with it. All right, you know what? If I'm gonna guess Generation 4 right now. The worst legendary in Generation 4. It's gotta be Mesprit. It's gotta be Mesprit. There's no way it's not Mesprit.
It's close. It's special hit taking Thunderwave, Blissey baiting Explosion, and of course Stab Ice Beam.
It's really genuinely good at exploding and killing itself. That's
make it the most.
Oh, regigigas. Oh, okay. Hold on. So regigigas clearly. Oh, Fiona, dude, I didn't even think about that. Whoa, you guys are way smarter than me are. So, okay. If we take Regigigas out of it, then it's either Fiona or Mesprit. And if it's down to Fiona or Mesprit, then it's definitely Fiona, because Fiona is actually classified as legendary. Don't ask us why. I couldn't tell you. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Generally useful. So then
Manaphy is great. Manaphy's lovely. We love Manaphy. Fiona, worst. Terrible. Awful. We should kick it. Wait, do mythicals? I can't speak. Mythicals count? I guess they do, because he was talking about Deoxys, and he mentioned Jirachi. So mythicals do cover this. It's all like the legendary-esque or legendary adjacent.
It comes down to Registeel versus Regirock, and there, Steel just barely edges the rock out. And though it seems too weak with low attack and lack of useful stabs, it has established itself as genuinely good thanks to its immense bulk alongside the excellence of pure steel typing.
I will say Registeel has the best vibes out of all of the Regis. I mean, Regirock's cry is great, and Regice's cry is great, but Registeel's animations, apart from that one sprite, just always seems to be on point.
Though Regirock's got
why is he spread like
the massive defense stat? Registeel's Rock Slide resist is incredible, and it also packs an invaluable Meteor Mash resist, as opposed to Rock's weakness.
We do love Gurfy.
Furthermore, its water neutrality makes it incredibly difficult to take out, even for offensive threats like Starmie and Suicune. Registeel winds up playing as a cross between defensive Jirachi and Metagross. It lacks recovery, but it's insanely bulky, and in spite of its low attack, it can go on the offensive quite effectively once it's exhausted its walling capacity thanks to the power of early gen Explosion. Make no mistake though, Regirock is just about as legitimate as Registeel.
Okay, Regirock looked like it was going to throw a fit there with that animation.
Having been used to success in serious tournament play. Somewhat similar to Registeel, it basically functions as a second Metagross, except it does so much more aggressively. One of the problems with Metagross is that it's insanely threatening, but often needs to explode to deliver on its threat potential.
Why? That's such a funny thing about the older generations, is that so many Pokemon need to kill themselves to be threatened.
And after that, you don't have a Metagross anymore. That's where Regirock comes in, offering solid attack alongside Stab Rock Slide and boosting with Curse, making it a sort of meta by way of Snorlax that you can either use to bolster your offense after meta booms early, or you can open the gates for meta with your Rock early on. It can also utilize some other neat tools like Choice Band Superpower. The problem? Regirock really only works on offense.
This is crazy because it has so much defense.
Registeel is more flexible, either acting as a...
I mean, it is. I mean, if you think about it, steel is more bendable and malleable than rock is. Because if you superheat it, it'll become bendy. That's how it works, right? If you heat it up, it becomes like, because it kind of melts a little bit.
Bulky pivot on offense or slotting into pure stall, thus leaving
I might be thinking of glass, actually.
regirock as the worst. But that wouldn't even be the end for the Reggie.
Whoa, what? What just happened there? All right, hold on. Okay, obviously regirock is really bad, but Fionn, surely. And if we're not counting Fionn, then Mesprit, surely.
As of course, regigigas is the worst legendary in Generation 4. Well, this one comes as no surprise. Famously a recipient of our How Bad Was This Pokemon Actually videos, which is made all the more stupefying by its status as not just a legendary, but as the leader of the golems, and with some truly insane stats, only to be chained by one of the worst abilities ever for some bizarrely inscrutable reason. As if Game Freak, seemingly possessed by the spirit of Marquise de Sade, went out of their way to make such a threatening Pokemon, only so they could say, actually lol, no, every turn is crucial in competitive play. It's why free turn enablers like Sleep, Freeze, Full Paralysis, and Flinch are so controversial.
What do? You spam Protect? Are you just gonna... No, because if you have a Regigigas on the field and you're gonna go like, oh, I'm gonna spam Protect every other turn, it's gonna be so great and brilliant, then someone just set up in front of you, they're just like, oh, okay, I guess it's Swords Dance time.
Regigigas gives away 5 free turns every time it switches in.
And the counter resets. Okay, it wouldn't be as bad if the counter didn't reset, but the bloody counter resets.
If it were like a sort of...
And Regigigas didn't get Protect until Generation 8. I think, for some reason, someone was out to get Regigigas. I imagine a situation where it was 2 spouses working at Game Freak, and one of them designs Regigigas, and they're like, wow, I really love this. The other one says, that's great, honey. I love you too. Then all of a sudden, the Regigigas designer cheats on the other one and then leaves the company. And in response and retaliation, as revenge, the Pokemon is then given Slow Start, never to be used to any great potential.
Reverse Ash Greninja situation where you had to wait.
Regigigas is a child of divorce.
For it to unleash its final form, but once you did, you were good to go. It would be okay. But as it stands, Regigigas could forget about competing with Dialga and Palkia.
Okay, you know what? I guess I'm going to guess for Generation 5. So for Generation 5, it comes down to what? The genies. It's not going to be the big boys. It'll be the genies or the Swords of Justice. Could be Keldeo, could be... Ooh, Virizion. Oh, Keldeo? No. Oh, Cobalion. It's not going to be Terrakion. Terrakion's really good. Cobalion. Is Cobalion good? I guess it's good at setting up rocks. I just can't imagine what Virizion will be really used for. Virizion seems like the useless one. It's got to be Virizion. Yeah, I'm going to lock in Virizion as my answer for this.
And instead wound up
I don't think it'll be Meloetta. I feel like I don't know. Am I crazy? I feel like Meloetta is like better than Virizion is.
And NU, where it was also almost worthless. And with that, the Regis were thus the worst legendary in back-to-back generations. Though this time around, the distinction was far more dubious and not to be repeated in Gen 5, as Virizion...
There's Virizion.
All right,
we knew
Gen 5 legendary for singles, but Cobalion is the worst for VGC.
Really? I don't imagine how Virizion's any better on VGC, to be fair.
Virizion actually started Gen 5 off quite well. It had Breloom's typing and Infernape's speed tier, as well as Infernape's ability to attack both physically and specially. It had quite a unique place in Gen 5's Weather Wars, as it was highly effective against both sand and rain, both offensively and defensively, handling Excadrill, Landorus, and various water moves while helping against Thundurus and not fearing everyone's favorite.
Oh my god, that makes me remember the time. There was like a time, like 8 years, where in competitive Landorus was just so absolutely dominating the competitive format. It was on like every single team. You'd see it everywhere. Landorus is the top tier. He was the big dog. The Landorus was the LeBron James of being Landorus.
Ferrothorn. And especially...
I don't think it's like that anymore. I don't think Landorus is that good anymore.
Renowned during the dominance of Rainstall, as its Swords Dance set was the single biggest threat to those teams, since it didn't fear their catch-all unaware Quagsire whatsoever. Get up Stealth Rock to break Dragonite's multiscale, and you're off to the races. However,
what the hell is this? Oh, I think I heard someone tell me about, there's an anime where like the girls are like horses, and I guess people like bet on the girls running. It's so strange. I guess they could have framed, it's just so strange they framed it as a horse race, and not as just like a running race, you know, like humans do. They were like, oh, no. This is very much not a human race. This is a horse race. They love those strange things, don't they? They love it.
Virizion stumbled. It had major competition in Technician Breloom and the newly added Sword of Justice Keldeo, both much more powerful. Virizion's base 90 offenses could be quite underwhelming, now more than ever, especially defensive Celebi was absolutely everywhere and was joined by Amoonguss, meaning its wall-breaking capabilities no longer got it anywhere. The emergence of Psychic Spam just made it even more impossible to use. Virizion thus dropped to UU, where it met its competitor for Gen 5's worst legendary, fellow Sword of Justice, Cobalion.
I thought it would be the Cobalion or Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what Cobalion does apart from set up rocks and like maybe use Volt Switch. It's so weird to me that Cobalion gets Volt Switch to begin with. And while we're paused, I might as well make my guess for Generation 6 as well. I don't think it's going to be Volcanion. I don't think it's going to be any of the big boy legendaries. I mean, you could make an argument for Zygarde, but probably not because it's got all those different forms. Are they going to take the forms into account? Is it going to be Zygarde mini baby form? No, because that's a Generation 7 thing, isn't it? I don't think you had Zygarde mini baby form back then. So I'm going to say it's probably Diancie, isn't it? Either Diancie or Hoopa. Probably one of those two.
Who was previously viewed as Diet Lucario, would have been a lock for the title. But now things were more contentious. Virizion was a solid threat in UU, but there was plenty of fighting competition that easily outdid
What just happened there?
both it.
Wait, okay, whoever's editing for Full Swipe Gaming now, I just want to give a big hand. Just want to give you a hand. Oh, this editing's been great. I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
And Cobalion damage-wise. So the decider was the utility the two of them would bring, since they weren't going to be matching Mean Shao or Heracross in raw damage output. And in this regard, Cobalion was far better. That steel typing alongside its great defense meant it was excellent at taking on metagame juggernaut Snorlax. And it wasn't just an offensive threat. With Stealth Rock and Volt Switch, it was a hazard-setting momentum machine. The quad resist to Heracross's Megahorn was superb for staving off the Choice Scarf for late game too. Virizion, on the other hand, wasn't nearly as useful.
Just the 129 in special defense is so confusing to me. Why are you there? I understand that the Swords of Justice all have 129 in certain stat, but maybe it should have been like 129 special attack, and then it would be so much better than it is now. Because Terrakion has 129 attack. I think Cobalion has 129 defense. And instead of special defense, it should have been special attack.
Defensively, and it didn't have any sort of utility and really suffered from needing a boost to threaten much of the tier. And even with the boost, it struggled with Crobat everywhere. On the bright side, Cobalion was the worst of the bunch of VGC, as its typing and utility weren't especially notable, seeing the worst amount of notable usage of the trio. Whereas Terrakion saw a great amount of usage thanks to its sheer power, speed, and amazing dual stabs, especially in VGC 2011, a format run by the flying type genies. Those genies wanted no business with another high attack rock
What has happened to you?
slide user that was faster than Tyranitar. And as for Virizion, even Virizion was excellent for taking on Sand and Rain, just as it had early in singles. So at least Virizion,
I'm sorry, I'm so locked in on the editing now. It's just really
avoided
good.
that double whammy of being bad in both formats. But our next legendary
Zygardes! Oh, well, I guess we're not using mythicals then? Because I don't think a mythical has popped up so far on the list. They didn't even mention Fio.
wasn't so fortunate, as Zygarde is
Damn, that's tough. And he's like one of the big fellas too. Well, this fella wasn't big enough apparently.
the worst legendary of Generation 6. Gen 7 Zygarde was absurdly broken, not just with its over-the-top complete variant, but even in its original form thanks to 1,000 Arrows, which was basically Earthquake if
Has anyone actually counted the animation? Does anyone know if it's 1,000? I don't think it's 1,000. I think they're lying to us. I think they're lying to us and we should do something about it. Honestly, I'm tired of being lied to by Game Freak. They say 1,000 arrows, they don't even show 1,000 arrows. What's up with that? Also, what's going on with double slap? Double slap is supposed to be 2 because double means 2. However, there's obviously more than 2 slaps in double slap because it can hit it from 2 to 5 times. I don't think they know what double means. Unless they mean if it's 4, then it's double 2, because then it'll be 2 double 2, which would make sense. But then it can go to 5. And double for 5 is 2.5 for 5, and they can't have half a slap. So that doesn't make any sense, Game Freak. Why are you lying to us?
you couldn't take it on with flying or levitate Pokemon. Yeah, no big deal. They've only been the best of the limited answers to the eternal excellence of Stab Earthquake Forever. Had Pokemon Z been released, Zygarde would have gotten itself canned from Gen 6 as well, and we'd never dream of putting it on this list. But as it stands, Zygarde didn't obtain the perfect form until the following generation, so it spent all of X and Y.
Well, which is really weird because it didn't really tie into the story at all. There was just a guy that's like, oh, lots of cells around here, isn't there? Anyway, if you find any, just let me know. Be really cool to see some. Just didn't have any kind of relation to the story whatsoever. And then it says, oh, 100 of them. Wow. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, you have one of the most powerful creatures in existence now. Enjoy.
And Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire as a third-rate Garchomp with a fourth-rate move pool. You'd be better off with Mega.
Oh, Kaiba reference? Base, you know what? I'm going to give another round of applause there. I got to start giving round of applause for things that I really like in videos. I'm going to give a round of applause for the Kaiba, the Seto Kaiba reference, the Duel Links Kaiba reference. That you're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck.
Garchomp. Or just forget the Dragon Ground thing and just use Landorus Therian or Gliscor. Yes, Zygarde gets Dragon Dance, and yes, technically, that means it can do something, but it tends to follow in the unimpressive footsteps of Gen 2 Entei. Just because it has a niche for the occasion that it would get used, doesn't mean it should actually get used. This is especially rough because Zygarde, while not technically the first box art legendary on this list, given the fact that it never actually received the game that it would be on the box art of, is
Which is a shame because it is such a cool mon. A bit of a heartbreaker, really. Oh, let's guess for Gen 7 because I noticed that as soon as it transitions to the next generation, it immediately shows you what the Pokemon is. So I'm going to make my guess for Generation 7 that it is... Oh, what's even in Gen 7? The Tapus? Oh, it's Bulu, isn't it? Oh, it's got to be Bulu. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything else. It's got to be Bulu because Tapu Lele is insane. It's an absolute menace. Tapu Fini's pretty good. Tapu Koko's pretty good. And Bulu's just sad. Nihilego? I don't think Ultra Beasts count as legendaries though, do they? We're not counting those. Let's count Cosmog. I think they said at the start of the video they're not going to count like the pre-evolved forms.
Still part of Gen 6's defining legendary trio. So it is the first box
Naganadil's pretty solid. Tapu Bulu genuinely is not very good.
art adjacent legendary to be included on account of Game Freak's generation-long style of giving it Giratina and Kyurem style upgrades. And though Zygarde is indeed the choice of Gen 6's worst, it's
Oh, Silvally! Oh, maybe.
not without competition. It does have competition in the form of Hoopa Confined, which is all the way down in RU, whereas Zygarde is BL, after having thoroughly destroyed UU. However, we're going by OU viability, and amazingly, Hoopa manages...
Oh, okay, so they are including these in this then. So where's Diancie at then? Seriously, is Diancie good in OU for some reason?
to eke Zygarde out there, in spite of how physically frail and comparatively slow it is. It's no star, but it does have a legitimate niche on certain hazard-abusing hyper-offense teams, especially Sticky Web, because it blocks Rapid Spin, allowing counterplay against Oraz's ever-present utility.
It had a Mega? It didn't have a Mega in Gen... Oh, wait, it did have a Mega in Gen 6. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that was Oras. Yeah. Okay, for some reason, I was locked into X and Y. I completely forgot that it had a Mega in Generation. I used Mega Diancie in a draft league that I did once, and my god, it wasn't very good.
Excadrill. This is niche, but it is viable, and certainly to a greater extent, impact and all, than Zygarde's potential role of Dragon Dancing on dual screens offense, which is so niche as to almost not even exist. Oh, and it gets worse, as Zygarde is also the worst in VGC, because there, it is also a poor trainer's Garchomp, as it is much slower and much weaker. A poor trainer's
No one used it? That's so sad.
Garchomp will also never be chosen over the meta-defining Geomancy Xerneas. Even Yveltal has
Jeez, even Yveltal got picked. Over Xerneas is kind of wild,
a solid amount of placements in VGC 2016. Zygarde is a Z-grade legendary and our first double whammy as the worst in both singles and doubles. But
That's
it
a
wouldn't be
heartbreaker.
long before it was joined.
Oh, it's actually Necrozma, base Necrozma. I mean, I thought base Necrozma was not that bad because it gets its special move. It gets the the photon lasers. What is it? It gets like Calm Mind. It can set up. It has Dragon Dance. I mean, it's a single type, so it's not ideal, obviously. But I don't know. I didn't think Tapu Bulu was that
By
great.
the second, as Necrozma is our worst legendary in Gen 7. Now, it wouldn't take Necrozma until
Oh, Photon Guy says Usum? Well, I mean, it's still in Generation 7, though, so it still has access to it in this
the
generation.
next generation for it to receive two forms, Kyurem style, with the possibility to then burst into another Zygarde style super form on top of that. But its base form is thoroughly unimpressive compared to the cavalcade of Cosmic Crushers crawling around Gen 7. Like Gen 6 Zygarde, base Necrozma isn't even close to being on par with its fellow box art trio members. Underwhelming though Solgaleo is, it is still uber.
Which is crazy that Solgaleo and Lunala get so utterly comstered and dumpstered in the cutscene, which is just it's really sad because you see Cosmo finally evolve into its final form and it's like, great, this Pokemon is going to protect me. Necrozma pops out of nowhere and just batters him, completely batters him, and then absorbs him. Like, I've never seen someone get jobbed so badly since Vegeta in every fight he ever does.
While Necrozma, for all its many great traits, a superb move pool, good power and bulk, the latter enhanced by Prism Armor's weakening of super effective attacks, not only fails to match its fellow Gen 7 legendaries, it doesn't even come close. In addition to Lunala
Yeah, I can't believe Silvally is actually better than
and
Necrozma.
Solgaleo residing in Ubers, all four Tapus define OU. Necrozma, on the other hand, languishes all the way down in RU. It's very good, more than you'd expect when you hear the words RU Psychic type, but its unimpressive speed, alongside pure Psychic typing, hurts when you consider that its good traits are good, but hardly incredible, as you would expect from a Pokemon of its stature. Again, it's not quite a box art legendary in the most technical sense, because its base form isn't actually on the box art, but it is the second consecutive box art adjacent Pokemon to be the worst. Now, there is a Gen 7 legendary Pokemon that's
Isn't it crazy that Tapu what? Type Null and Silvally are legendaries? Wait, is Type Null's class as a legendary for some reason? I don't really understand that.
Speaking, is worse than Necrozma. Silvally,
Someone's been watching a little bit too much Full Metal Alchemist, I think, when they were making this.
It's an untiered Pokemon, not even good enough for PU, and it's clearly nowhere near Necrozma's level. However, in a way, that is precisely why we don't feel like it fits this list. Here's why.
Okay.
When considering the worst legendary, there is an unspoken implication that drives the very intrigue of the idea. Legendary Pokemon are given more tools to succeed than your average Pokemon. They are more powerful. Thus, the intrigue comes from seeing a Pokemon with legendary stats who still fail to live up to the promise of its power.
That's just so bad. I mean, I guess it's not awful. 95 is not necessarily low, but it's not good either.
Counterparts. So Volley is not more powerful than your average Pokemon. In fact, it's a good deal weaker. Yes, it can run any type in the game, and it's quite balanced, with base 95 across the board, resembling the base 100 Pixies, which have been competitive staples since Pokemon's inception.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like a slight bit more stats, and they do so much better. They just have more tools at the disposal, apart from maybe Celebi. Celebi doesn't really have any tools.
However, as power creep has taken its toll, even base 100 across the board is no longer impressive. In fact, it's often rather underwhelming. Base 95? Forget it. Now consider every other Pokemon on this list thus far. Moltres, Entei, Regirock, Regigigas, Virizion, Zygarde. Each of them have at least base 100 in 2 stats, and are generally going quite a bit beyond that.
Yeah, not a single stat over 100 is Depression Arc. Oh, it's almost the end of Gen 7. What happened, I guess, for Generation 8 now? Okay, well, Generation 8. What kind of legendaries do we have in Generation 8? We have the dogs. Clearly, the dogs are not going to be on this list. We have Eternatus. Clearly, Eternatus is not going to be on this list. It's way too good. We have the Urshifu. Urshifu is an absolute demon mastermind. We love Urshifu. It's very, very strong. Oh my god, what legendaries are even in? Oh, I forgot about the... Oh, there's Galarians. There's Galarian Zapdos, Galarian Moltres, Zarudes. There's... This one's tough because the Galarian birds aren't necessarily very good. Zarude's not very good. Oh, Calyrex. Regular Calyrex. Spectria. Spectria's not great either. Ugh. I've never seen someone use regular Calyrex, so it's got to be that
benchmark.
One, sure.
4 of those 6 have at least base 100 in 3 stats. 5 if you count General Moltres and its special stat as both
I actually don't know what regular Calyrex's stats even
special
are.
attack and special defense. Does Silvally, unable to break 95 in a single stat, really deserve to be ranked against these? We don't think.
Oh, what? Are you joking? 100 HP and 80 and everything else. I'm going to throw up looking at this. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. What is this? It's got so many weaknesses too. Oh, it has to be. Oh, look at his legs. Jesus, could someone just kick this creature?
So,
someone just kick him really hard.
Yes, Silvally is clearly Gen 7's worst fully evolved legendary, but we prefer to highlight Necrozma as Gen 7's worst fully realized legendary, and it is also the worst in VGC. It's a restricted Pokemon, but nobody was going to be blowing a restricted slot on base Necrozma.
Could you imagine you're rolling up to your latest VGC tournament and instead of using one of the upgraded, just better versions of Necrozma, you're like, nah, I'm going to use base form. I think that's way better. I'm going to... Wait. Cosmoem and Cosmog are restricted? Come on. Like, be real for a second. No one is using that. If someone rolls up to the function with a Cosmoem, then you just kick them out. You punch them in the face. They're clearly not taking this seriously.
Necrozma, when they can use one of its boosted forms. Meanwhile, Silvally actually got some usage in 2017. Sure, it was a smaller Pokedex format.
Oh, Brit! Let's go, Jason! Woo!
But it still counts. Thus, Necrozma really followed in Zygarde's footsteps with the whole box art adjacent double whammy deal. And Gen 8 wouldn't quite repeat this, but it sure came close. As Glastrier is our worst legendary of
Wait, really? Not Calyrex?
Gen 8 for singles, and Galarian Articuno is our worst for VGC. Glastrier
Really? I am shocked and surprised by this.
is a truly bizarre case. It's not truly a box art legend, but it and Spectrier, along with the Calyrex that fuses with them, were the icons of the Crown Tundra DLC, making it somewhat adjacent to the concept. It and Spectrier certainly have stats similar to such Pokemon anyway. Glastrier has 4 stats above base 100, while its HP is
They're leaving out Calyrex for the same reason as Silvally. I'm a bit confused by that because it is a legendary. You said it's not like a fully realized one. And I guess like it doesn't, I guess the vibes are off. The vibes are kind of off, especially when it comes to Calyrex. The vibes are so off. The vibes are off when it comes to Silvally being a legendary because it's like, no, it's not. Like, calm down. It's like strong, but it's not. Like, shut up. Even if they classify it as that.
100 exactly, but base HP is calculated differently, and thus base 100 HP is much more impressive than, say, 100 attack. As for attack, Glastrier is coming in at a stunning base 145, coming in on the...
No one is using Calyrex? Yeah, but no one was using base Necrozma either, because you just use the stronger version or the other version of it?
likes of Groudon and Zekrom, and is doing so with one of the most ferocious stabs in the game, Ice. which is complemented by the amazing coverage of high horsepower and close combat. Meanwhile, that impressive base 100 HP is complemented by a stunning base 130 defense and excellent base 110 special defense. This makes it bulkier than the necrozma Duskmane. Okay, so it's extremely slow, and Ice has many weaknesses. But
yeah, look how slow the thing is. That's it running at full speed, by the way.
That power, and with that stab and coverage along
that is its maximum pace.
inside that bulk, and in the generation which introduced heavy-duty boots so as to bypass stealth rock, letting it actually wield that bulk, surely it can do something, right? You know where Glastrier wound up? Untiered.
Oh, really? Oh, that's so sad. I'm genuinely curious about where Calyrex ended up now.
It's okay in NU, but barely viable in PU, reflected by its usage failing to keep it in either tier. Now, Glastrier does technically have the slightest of slight OU niches, which theoretically...
Oh, okay. Wow. Calyrex ended up in ZU, which is not untiered, but it's very close to being untiered. I mean, if you look at the other Pokemon that are in ZU, we got Lipard, we got Kabutops, they got Bufalon. I mean, it's not great. But Glastrier is ZUBL, which is, I think, like a tiny bit higher than ZU. I don't know. I'm a little
it would make
confused.
It not the worst. That
ZU actually means super used. They use this as super amount.
Doesn't even exactly exist though, but it is there, and that's why we've decided it should split the title for Gen 8's worst legendary with Galarian Articuno, which is a behemoth in the PU that Glastrier fails to compete in, but certainly can't even pretend towards an OU niche the way Glastrier can. It goes to show the strangeness of the tiering system. You'd think we'd be used to it by now, having watched Quagsire and Gastrodon demonstrate it in so many times, but it's still jarring. Anyway, Galar Articuno is a low tier terror.
It is a shame because this is one of the sickest designs maybe ever.
Not just PU, but NU as well.
And it has a really, really cool signature move that looks really sick as well.
Packing a tremendous unique stab combination of Hurricane and Future Sight off of its base 125 special attack stat. We're calling its Gen 1 incarnation, but with a new Gen twist on the catch-22 positions that it would lock opponents into with the delayed effect of Future Sight. It can't keep up with its legendary companions, but that's hardly shameful given the power creep it's facing and the fact that it's so
Look how sick it is! Oh, look at it. He's got a big fat belly, too. Look at his big fat bird belly.
Genuinely good in its own right. As for the Glastrier of it all, we feel it's fair to include it despite its OU viability, because similar to our Gen 7 logic, it seems to have been given much more than Galarian Articuno, yet it's so much worse. So we feel it's fair. However, Galarian Articuno is the worst of the Gen 8 legends in VGC, with its typing and utility.
Oh, I can imagine that, certainly. Maybe they're not putting Calyrex on it because it's so good when it's fused with one of the horses, but I'm not really sure. Anyway, for Generation 9, I mean, there's actually so many legendaries in Generation 9. I don't think they're going to count any Paradox Mons. That wouldn't make any sense to me. So I think I'm just going to go off of the legendaries. We've got like Chi-Yu, we got like Ting-Lu, we got like wo-chien. I have never seen anyone use wo-chien effectively. But also like Ting-Lu. I mean, Ting-Lu, I feel like Ting-Lu works better in battle than wo-chien does. Wo-chien literally stalls, and I don't think it does anything else. And I can't think of any other legendary that would be worse than wo-chien. And I can't even think of the last ruination Pokemon. Wo-chien, Ting-Lu, Chi-Yu, and oh my god, what is the last one? Okidogi. Oh my god, Okidogi? Oh, I forgot. Monkey Dory. Oh, it's got to be Monkey Dory. Surely. Oh, Chin-Pao. I forgot about Chin-Pao. Well, Chin-Pao's good. It's got to be Monkey Dory. Surely Monkey Dory.
By far the most bland. Even though it had the useful Intimidate, Punishing competitive ability, it struggled against Incineroar, especially in relation to its fellow Galarian birds. Galarian Zapdos' Intimidate, Abusing, Defiant was self-evident in its excellence alongside a superb stab combination, including a super effective smash against the Big Cat, while Galarian Moltres' own unique stabs went to terrifying extremes in conjunction with Berserk, Weakness Policy, and Dynamax. And it wasn't just the birds either.
Oh my god, I forgot about Regidraco. Yeah, that guy was not that great. I mean, Dragon Energy is pretty strong, especially with its ability.
Galarian Articuno had less usage and utility than the specific and limited Regidrago. Boy, we're so glad the Regis didn't manage to hat trick for worst legendary. And yes, it's even worse than Glastrier, whose flaws were still there, but grabbed a few high placements, not unlike its technically existent OU viability. Also, in keeping with our logic on Silvally, we're not counting base Calyrex.
Okay, sure. Okay, now they're gonna explain it.
Yes, it's got 100 base HP, but then its other stats are all base 80. Nothing so similar to Glalie should be compared with legendaries that actually have legendary stats.
Oh, okay, so it's going off of like the actual usage of it. Like Glastrier has 145 attack. That's a really high attack. Calyrex has like nothing good. So we're just not going to compare something that has really low stats like Fion. Fion doesn't count because it has such ridiculously low stats. If you don't have any stats over 100, you shouldn't be called legendary.
And now we're off to the
Oh, wo-chien! Oh, is it really not Monkey Dory? Damn, I missed on a lot of these. I missed on most
Final
of these.
boss of sorts, with our worst legendary of Gen 9 being wo-chien. In the most power-crept generation of all, one legendary Pokemon dared to be different, standing among its fellow treasures of ruin.
It dared to be different. It dared to be weak. It dared to be pathetic and useless.
A set of legendaries which produced the absurdly broken Chi-Yu and Xin-Pao, who were banned from the same OU tier that Ting-Lu would eventually become a defensive staple in. Wo-chien stood out. It dared to be absolutely terrible.
That's what I said. We're on the same wavelength here.
The gap between wo-chien and its fellow treasures of ruin is staggering. Forget Yu or something. Wo-chien is all the way down in PU.
I just can't believe that Monkey Dory has been able to get away with this
And
one.
it's not just the ruinous quarter that it trails by some distance either, but all of its fellow legends. Even the less obviously broken or at least excellent ones like Terrapagos and Enamorus.
I forgot about Enamorus. Oh, what a terrible, useless piece of... Sorry. Well, actually, wait, is Enamorus Generation 9? I thought Enamorus is Gen 8 because it's Legend Arceus, and Legend Arceus came out before Scarlet and Violet. So, wouldn't it be Generation 8?
Even the loyal 3 by and large leave it in the dust too.
Really? Pheasantipity?
Okidogi is too much for Yu and is worthwhile in OU. Pheasantipity is great in RU.
What? Look at its stats! These are the worst stats I've ever seen. 99 speed! Why would they do that? What if this in the 125 special defense, 91 attack is the highest attack in stat. This is worse than Virizion is.
And can even work in OU.
I mean, its typing's decent.
And Monkey Dory is
oh my god, Monkey Dory. I mean, honestly, Monkey Dory 130 special attack. This is worse. This is worse than Espeon.
excellent in NU and works in RU as well. Wo-chien, though it can work in RU and NU, is firmly embedded in PU in spite of its outstanding base 135 special defense and strong base 100 defense.
Well, I mean, what does wo-chien even do apart from Leech Seed and Ruination? Like, what? Genuine question. I don't know what this wo-chien does.
Alongside a solid base 85 HP and an ability whose weakening of opposing attack stats significantly enhances
Die to U-turn. Oh, fair enough.
its physical bulk. It's also got some of the most obnoxious moves in the game. Not only is it rocking the Leech Seed and knockoff comp,
Okay, it has knockoff.
that knockoff is stab, and their effect really takes its toll.
Yeah, it's literally Leech Seed and Ruination is that's
In a
it.
hurry, combined with the treasure's signature move, Ruination. So what's the problem? Well, wo-chien is slow, not very strong, and its moves, while impactful, struggle to carry it at the kind of
I mean, does it get synthesis? It can at least like Leech Seed, Ruination, synthesis combo and just like never die except when someone uses a U-turn.
pace demanded nowadays, especially considering its dark grass typing leaves it riddled with all manner of readily
How many weaknesses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weaknesses. Oh my days. What? It's got a quad weakness to bug as well.
exploitable weaknesses. Among others, it's most notably fearful of fighting, fairy, fire, ice, and a seriously nasty quadruple weakness to U-turn. It recalls several
And it only has base 100 defense. Though, to be fair, it has that ability that reduces the attack of other Pokemon on the field.
generations of
not that
Celebi,
bad.
with its great walling potential betrayed by just how easy it is to hit super effectively. And it certainly isn't a bad Pokemon, but it pales in comparison to its fellow legendaries. And to really hammer this home, you have to consider the VGC of it all, where just about every legendary is cracked in some bonkers way, from the world's winning Miraidon to the Koraidon right behind it, such as on Wolf's successful Patterrz Trap team, to every form of Ogerpon running over everything in sight, to the other treasures of ruin, with Chi-Yu and Xin-Pao nuking all in sight with Dark Stab, while Ting-Lu is also all over the place spamming Fisher. Once again, wo-chien takes a unique stand in being terrible. Psych!
I mean, wait, really? Psych? Was it a lie the whole time? Is it actually Monkey Dory? This is the worst one? Is it actually Pheasantipity that's the worst one?
Just kidding, it's not the worst. Oh,
What?
it comes close for sure.
What? It's not actually the... You just got bait. I knew it wouldn't be wo-chien. I knew it would be Monkey Dory the entire time. Now, please, reveal the real worst.
But in spite of the many jokes at its expense, Moxie Boosted and others have given it some solid VGC performances with it in tow.
I will say, the Moxie boosted wo-chien arc did not end very well. The Moxie boosted wo-chien... Yeah, it didn't exactly have a happy ending, unfortunately. As good as it would have been.
The loyal 3, though, minus Okidogi, because it's actually good. So really, the remaining loyal 2, Pheasantipity and
I knew Pheasantipity would be on this. I just look at those stats and I was like, there's no way this is good. There's absolutely no way.
Monkey Dory are so close to being the worst that it almost pains us to split hairs over the race to the sub-wo-chien bottom. Monkey Dory has slightly better
Yeah, there we
performances,
go.
but they're really almost interchangeable as far as viability is concerned. Overall, though, Pheasantipity is slower and less powerful.
I just don't know what a Pheasantipity... I don't even know what this thing exists for. What is the point
So
of
you're
this?
less likely to muscle your way to some success with it. Either way,
There's people actually try to use. Oh, people have tried to use Pheasantipity and Monkey Dory. 43rd, 68th, 112th. I mean, it's not the worst.
wo-chien is thankful to both of them for ensuring it doesn't get hit with the singles doubles double whammy.
All right, there we go. Those are the worst legendaries in every single generation. Did you guess correctly? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Maybe you should subscribe to Full Swipe Gaming. He's almost at 500K. What are you doing not being subscribed, silly?